announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah. Flex on the G.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all the ages, it is that time of the weekend. Wait, I know I'm not. Wait a minute. Ducks. I know I'm not talking about Ducks hockey. I'm not talking about NHL hockey. Something feels weird. One sec. There we go. Now I feel like a little bit. Now it feels a lot more better because it is happening now. We are having a great American bash here on the Flex Network. Yes, it is the Flex Network. We are back and hope you guys are going to enjoy this lovely time we're going to have here on the Flex Network. It's your weekend review show here for the world of wrestling. And geez, I mean, normally when I start the show, we do it's tradition. So you know how we do this because we are live. Yes. Happy early 4th of July for everyone. And yes, yesterday was our brothers to the north. It was Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to everyone yesterday for our Canadian viewers. But guess what? We are back. I am back. It is a great time right now in the world of wrestling as we are on this great American bash high right now. It is so good right now. I mean, literally Wednesday we had the Great American Bash Part 1 on with NXT bringing it back. We also had night 1 of AEW's Friday Fest. And maybe not everything went accordingly to plan, as far as Friday Fest is concerned. We'll get to that in a little bit. But still, a lot of things was awesome this past week. And also, we are also on the road to Extreme Rules, the horror show. Yes, I said the horror show. They added that little stick to the end. I guess because we're going to talk a little bit about that match coming up, but it just feels so patriotic right now. It's the month of July. I mean, we're 2 days out from the 4th of July now. While a lot of people won't be able to go and to a lot of places and see fireworks, I mean, light up the sky and gather with everyone. You could gather with us here on the Flex Network today to kick off your celebratory mood. Feeling patriotic. I mean, heck, we got the U.S. title around us. I mean, it's one of the best belts out there right now. But dang it, let's get into this week's show. Let's get into it with a little bit of news before we go on. Some big news coming out, actually from last week. If you had not heard, she's now former former Impact World Champion, the women, the first time ever that a woman held the world title for Impact Wrestling / TNA, which I know everyone still is going to comment about. I still call it TNA, but it's killed that TNA name off a long time ago. But their former world champion, Tessa Blanchard, is no longer the world champion and is no longer with Impact Wrestling. Apparently, she was not sending anything for TV for her promos to build up for Slammiversary coming up. She was supposed to be in a 5-way match for the Impact World title. And she was I guess she was in Mexico and she couldn't necessarily get back to TV in time to do, stuff for the show. So she was just going to send in some stuff, some promos to, at least keep her face on TV. But of course, she hadn't for their July 1st show, and they had to change around segments for TV while she was still in Mexico. So, and also her contract was set to expire before July 18th. So before the Slammiversary show. So it was reported that Impact had just said, nope, we're done. We're just going to sever our ties here. We want the belt back. And thank you very much for being here at Impact. So that's just bad management right there. I mean, for someone that's supposed to be put on the marquee as your world champion, and their world champion is nowhere near where you're supposed to be to come do TV or even to even do any pre-recorded tapings or segments, at your own home. That's kind of just bad business right there. But not all is bad for Miss Tessa Blanchard, because while she is no longer the world champion and she is no longer gainfully employed by Impact Wrestling, it has been thrown out there, reported that WWE may have some feelers out to see about bringing her back to WWE. She was a part of the Mae Young Classic, one of the early ones, and to say that to bring her back now would be interesting, to say the least. Literally would be, to say the least, very interesting. Granted, with everything that's gone on, especially if she comes to NXT or even if she comes to the main roster, that would be very well received. I mean, granted, how she handles her own business and how her attitude is, as being reported, that she's kind of hard to work with. I don't know how to see this, of how it will be for Tessa to be back with WWE, to say the least. And right now, I just don't know. It's up in the air. I could see something going on, but I just don't really know. Other big news: Velveteen Dream last Friday was in a car crash, but it wasn't serious enough for him because he was able to check out of the hospital. It was reported that he failed to stop at a red light and he had crashed his car. It is not known how serious the other driver's injuries were, but it is noted that he was given a citation. And right now, he's kind of not. He may be on the way out the door at NXT after doing such good stuff for that brand. I mean, literally, just a lot of great things have come out with him for NXT, as far as his character and his development. But to say the least, with what's been going on in the wrestling world right now, backstage with the speak out movement and reports that he's been kind of into this, like his name's been thrown around several times. So he may be on his way out the door with WWE/NXT. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Let's see what else. Do. Rumor has it that, or actually, if you've been watching Impact this recently, you've been noticing that that former WWE talent's been plugged in for Slammiversary, that they'll be making their appearance at the show, that they'll be coming back to TNA. Sorry, Impact. I still call it TNA, but they'll be coming back to Impact. They've been throwing out, it's gonna be, a former world champion, maybe, or keep watching, to see who it might be. But if you watch this past week, you saw Scott D'Amore, on the phone and was, saying about some Good Brothers. Well, it has been reported that some Good Brothers of the tag team known as Gallows and Anderson might be heading to Impact Wrestling in a deal that would allow them to also work in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they will probably be heading to Impact Wrestling in a done deal that they'll be going to Impact Wrestling after the 90-day no complete clause expires before June 18th. So it's getting close to that. And then also EC3 might be heading not back to Impact, but he may be heading to AEW. Also after his 90-day no compete clause. If you been watching his videos recently online, his recent one, after cutting his promo, you saw him walk away and AEW logo appeared. So he may be on the way to Dynamite, very soon. Sad news on with Ember Moon, as she has said that she may need another surgery after being told that while her Achilles tendon got split in half, and then it also got torn off the bone. So she actually ruptured her Achilles in two places, and the surgeon thinks that she may have been wrestling on it for probably about 2 months, already torn to some extent. She just didn't feel the pain because of her high tolerance for pain. So she doesn't know if she will have another surgery after suffering complications from the recovery. So that is unknown of what is going to be happening with Ember Moon. If you've been following closely with her and being out of ring for quite a while. Let's see. Sad note, or actually newsworthy note, there have been more releases this past week following with the Speak Out movement that's been going on in the wrestling world right now. NXT UK stars Travis Banks, Ligero, and 2 referees have been released from their contracts. They are no longer employed by WWE /NXT UK for the rumors or whatever's been coming out with the Speak Out movement. Joe Coffey from the UK brand has also been suspended right now. So that was just recently brought out that he will be suspended. Granted, NXT UK has been on hiatus. We'll talk about that in a short bit. Impact has been, also been throwing around some releases and everything. Suspended now is Michael Elgin. I can't say it right. I think I said it right, but he was supposed to be in the Impact World Title match at Slammiversary coming up on the 18th, but is no longer a part of that match. He will miss Slammiversary for the Impact World Title, and he's been written off of TV for right now. So he is currently suspended right now from Impact Wrestling. Some lighter news before we talk about what's been going on in on TV what's been going on with Raw, NXT, and AEW and SmackDown this past week. AEW is looking, or sorry, WWE is looking to get back fans into the show later this month, July, for Florida. So they're thinking of trying to start to integrate, the fans back into the show late July down there in Florida. While they're not going to be traveling, they're probably just going to be staying, Full Sail, or probably go to a local arena down there to where they could do fans, a smaller venue for fans, and allow their, to get people back into the building for shows, and to probably makes, get some money back, with souvenir sales and everything else at the live shows, and you get that live crowd feel back. Granted, besides, having the NXT developmental friends and family, which, hasn't been happening now because of recent testing results with the virus hitting the NXT area, so it's not going to be hitting down there at WWE. So they're kind of 86 in that friends and family idea right now, as some wrestlers have been, or not, some people around there have been hit with the virus and have been quarantined. So, other quick little news. WWE might be thinking about pushing SummerSlam to September to be able to have fans in Boston, because while Boston is not, the idea is that September 8th, after that, Boston will allow large gatherings. That's what the last time anything was said, that they would be allowed to have large gatherings after September 8th. Right now, as of recently, before we came on the air, TD Garden is still selling SummerSlam tickets for the August 23rd event. So no new news has been happening with what is going to be happening with SummerSlam itself. Now, while SmackDown, NXT, TakeOver, and Raw have not been, tickets for that have not been sold yet, because it was supposed to be SummerSlam weekend up there in Boston. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Probably just going to move that towards Florida and the Performance Center. But SummerSlam tickets still being sold right now at this time. That may be changing the ideas of, WWE might be pushing it to after September 8th, so that they could get fans in right now when they're allowed to. And then, of course, UK, NXT UK. While we've known since the virus has shut down everything, NXT UK has not had any shows done since this whole pandemic has happened. So there hasn't been any new episodes of NXT UK. They are looking to start empty arena tapings within the next 2 months when it's safe. Granted, they have to go and find an arena that will be able to work with them, as NXT UK doesn't have necessarily a performance center like over here in the States, down in Florida. So they haven't been running shows, or haven't been able to. So again, that's going to be determining what is happening over there in the UK with what rules and regulations they're going to have with the virus, and if they're going to be able to do any empty arena tapings, or even have an arena to have work with them to do some tapings to get the NXT UK brand back up and running. And that is going to be the news report for you guys to kick off the show this week. So a lot of things been going on, and it's just a lot of stuff coming in, a lot of stuff happening in the world of wrestling. But let's get into what has been happening on TV, what has been going on in the shows that have been you guys have been watching. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with the Red brand. Let's head on over to Raw. Actually, sorry, scratch that. Let's talk last week's SmackDown Live. Let's talk a little SmackDown. Let's get the U.S. title out here for right now. Boom. We're gonna talk a little Blue brand right now. Last week was the Undertaker tribute show. Again, a lot of things weren't going as planned. They were supposed to have AJ versus Drew Gulak for the IC title. Things got changed on the dime. So last week was a tribute show for the recently retired Undertaker. There wasn't really a whole lot of matches going on. Like 3 matches in total for this past week on Fox. Big one, of course, was Nikki Cross taking on Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, and Lacey Evans to earn a title shot against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title at Extreme Rules. And while that match was pretty chaotic, it was very entertaining. Nikki Cross picks up the victory. She will move on to take on Bayley at Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Women's title. New Day and Lucha House Party taking on in 8-man tag match, Miz and Morrison and Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Highly big tag team match right here with all the tag teams right now on SmackDown. It was a good match. I'll give it that. It was a pretty good match. Really wasn't intrigued, wholly intrigued with it, but still a lot of action with these 8 guys. So it was good. But New Day and Lucha House Party pick up the victory over Miz and Morrison, Cesaro, and Shinsuke in a good match. And then, of course, the big main event of the night, Jeff Hardy defending the honor of The Undertaker as King Corbin decided to put his foot in his mouth and think he can mock and make himself seem better than The Undertaker. Yeah, no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Bad idea on every front. Literally. The charismatic Enigma, getting that loving with the roster, with paying respects to the Undertaker and everything on a night where literally we got to rewatch the Boneyard, or for those who was not able to watch the Boneyard match from WrestleMania, Undertaker's final match. We got to watch that on Fox. So I want to say that this was more like a lumberjack style match, but because granted we had people around the ring. Granted, King Corbin has butt whipped bad with some help from Strowman, and then lovely help from Mr. Matt Riddle and the bro salt right there, the bro salt from the top rope. That was pretty cool. And to end the night, paying tribute to the dead man, The Undertaker, who has literally, when the brand split happened, yeah, he was initially on Raw, but he was more integrated over to SmackDown, and he fit well over there. He fit like a glove on SmackDown for the entire time of his career, the last half of his career, when the first inaugural draft happened. So again, big respect again to The Undertaker, and just, it was a good night. All right, let's talk a little bit about that Monday Night Raw. Let's switch on over to the Reds brand. Poof. Out goes the blue. We're going to talk a little red. It was actually, Raw was actually pretty damn stacked this past week. 8 matches happening. Garza and Andrade taking on the Viking Raiders. And, again, the cracks are showing here with this group, with teams Vega right here. Garza and Andrade cannot seem to get on the same page for quite a while. They were able to pick up the victory on the Viking Raiders, and hopefully, maybe they'll work a little bit better, hopefully to get them into that tag team title picture. But of course, you see cracks with these guys, arguing and not being on the same page. And it rolled right into these guys trying to take on the Big Show. Again, in a 2-on-1 handicap match, Andrade left Angel Garza hanging dry during the Viking Raiders match, but then was eventually pulled back in. It's like, okay, we'll do it. But then, of course, during the Big Show handicap match later in the night, Angel left Andrade high and dry, and he got his butt whipped for that. So, yeah, there's a lot of cracks in this foundation with this team. It is just going to be hard for them, I think, to stay together, and Zelina may have to pick one or the other to go with to represent. It's just going to be very interesting over the next several weeks. 24/7 title was on the line as R-Truth defeated Tozawa to become 24/7 champion again for the 27th time, the 30th. I literally, that guy has held that title so many times. It is unbelievable that they've kept this shtick going with R-Truth. It is just so crazy that they can keep on doing so many crazy stuff with the 24/7 title. And I stand corrected. 37 times he's held that title. That 24/7 title, 37 times. Good God. That is just crazy. Literally. It's just going to be very fun. 24/7 title has been one of the fun things to see on the program for the last while. Literally. Just something to get a good laugh at, get a good chuckle out of. I mean, essentially, it's the roll-up title. Seth and Murphy. Get out of here. Okay. Seth Rollins and Murphy taking on Aleister Black and Carlo. Tag team style match. Murphy and Rollins pick up the victory. And, of course, more fighting going on with Seth against the Mysterio clan right there. And Aleister Black and Humberto Carlo just defending and helping out their friend, their amigo. And unfortunately for Carlo, he got curb stomped with the Rey Mysterio mask on the steel steps. So, yeah, this is just adding on fuel to the fire for this rivalry right here. And I would probably expect that's going to end at Extreme Rules, Rey versus Seth, Extreme Rules match, or something to the degree of that area. And it's probably going to end or even bring in more of Dominic just to add insult to injury on this. It's going to be a very enjoyable time. Peyton Royce taking on Ruby Riott in a winning effort for Miss Royce. Ruby Riott it was a good match overall, but Ruby Riott, alone right now, and was trying to think, try to get her former BFF from the Ride Squad, Liv, to, hear her out for like a minute, but didn't want to. So just a lot of things going on with the women backstage. Especially weird seeing Lana and Natty kind of tag teaming a little bit, and at least backstage. The whole story with these guys, coming together. It's like kind of weird per se. But anyhow, gotta stay on TV somehow. And for Lana, it's hooking her trailer to Natty, her BFF. MVP taking on Apollo Crews. Again, MVP trying to get, you know, Cruz into his group, but of course denied. And now offers off the table. And now he just wants to get that U.S. title off of Cruz. And not a bad way for MVP to pull off the victory on Cruz. I mean, Granny had a little help with Lashley, but still was able to defeat Cruz one on one. Probably puts himself in line for a future U.S. title match down the line. Wouldn't be bad to see MVP going for the U.S. title one more time, but with what he's been mostly doing, just being a manager, I think it'd be best, probably Apollo versus, Lashley or someone else for the title. Should be good. Should be a good time to see the U.S. title. I mean, again, it's one of the best titles out there right now. Uh, and speaking of Lashley, taking on Ricochet as he makes his comeback, at least on TV, at least. Lashley picking up the victory on Ricochet. Yeah, I would say a somewhat quick match for him. And the main event of the night, as we kicked off Raw with the contract signings for the women's title match or at least for the Raw side, with Sasha and Asuka and Bailey getting into a fight right there just to kick off the show. Literally, cameras on, and here we are. We're having a brawl, a good old Donnybrook cat fight in the middle of the ring without even Drew or even Dolph in the ring to sign their contracts yet for Extreme Rules. So match was made for later in the night that it was going to be champions on one side, the Raw Women's Champion Asuka and Drew McIntyre, the men's world champion for Raw, the WWE champion, taking on their challengers at Extreme Rules, Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks. And I didn't really expect how good this match was going to be. Like, I was fairly entertained, to say the least. I mean, Sasha getting in the face of Drew just deciding to turn around and punch Ziggler's lights out and make it look like some tooth flying out into the crowd. It's like, really? That's my partner. That's my partner. You just sucker punched off the ring. But of course, unfortunately, the champs did not get the job done on Raw. Their challengers pick up the victory. Dolph and Sasha beat the champs, the Raw champs, to end Raw. And it is worth noting that for the Dolph and Drew match at Extreme Rules, which we'll talk about in a little bit, Drew has forfeited the option of choosing the match that they're going to have to Dolph. So Dolph will get the opportunity to pick the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules. So that was Raw. And in essence, gonna break up a little. Normally, I head on over to NXT to continue our talk of what's been going on TV this past week. But you know what? I'm gonna head on over to a little place we call that AEW, and I gotta bring that. Yeah, find where that background went for AEW. It was here. I mean, It's like trying to find AEW. Where are you? No one need to talk to you. Talk about you. Where'd you go? Literally, it's like trying to find needle in a haystack of where AEW went. Huh. I may have to find that one again because it looks like it has gone and disappeared from the face of the earth. Do, 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 do. Oh, there we go. Finally found it. I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. And let's get you back up on the show because you've been missed a little bit. Er, I don't know why that one opened up on me. And there we go. AEW's back now. It's back where it should be on behind me for you guys. Come on. There we go. AEW Dynamite. We're gonna talk what happened first week of Friday Fest for you guys. It was a good Friday Fest. I'll give it that. To kick off, these 2 weeks, next 2 weeks. Last night, night one, of course, a majority of the titles were on the line. As we found out that next week we were supposed to have the world title on the line between Mox and Cage for week number 2 on July 8th. But of course, if you know who Mr. Moxley is currently dating, she has been exposed. She's got the virus. So unfortunately for him, he's at home and he will not be able to partake in Friday Fest this time around. So he is not available for this week or next week. That matchup for the AEW World title has been moved to July 15th. And actually, in 2 weeks from yesterday, on the 15th, for AEW Fight for the Fallen. That one is going to be very fun to see. But let's talk about night one this past week. I gotta drink my Coke here. Jurassic Express taking on MJF and Wardlow. Tag team match. It's pretty good. I'll give it that. It was a really good match. MJF, of course, playing that damn good villain we all love to hate right now. So good. It was a good match. Jurassic Express picks up the victory in that match. AEW Women's title on the line. Sheeta taking on Penelope Ford in a good match. It was a real good one. Flipping back and forth between that and NXT. Sheeta retains the title over Penelope Ford. Fortunately for her, no new champion. Cody defending the TNT title. And if you noticed, he defended the title against Jake Hager from the Inner Circle. And if you notice his entrance, if you notice what he was wearing to the ring, his shirt was a throwback to the old school Great American Bash logo. It was a thing of beauty. Literally, the Great American Nightmare. That was awesome to see. And it was a thing of beauty. The match itself was great. It was really, really great. Jake, thought he had it. Cody gets out of it. Was able to defend the title and retain. Jake literally went on a complete rampage after knowing he had the title won. He had it won, lost it, like that, punched referees, and will more likely be suspended or fined big time for his actions. It was just crazy to see. Tag team title, number 1 contenders match. Private Party taking on Santana Ortiz. Winners will face the tag champs next week on night 2 of the card for Fyter Fest on July 8th. This one was very good. I will It was one of those things where very fast paced action with these guys. Private Party, I didn't really think they were going to pull it out. I mean, Santana Ortiz, I feel like they were going to be on a hot streak, with everything they're doing with Inner Circle, and I figured that they were going to be the next ones in line for a title shot. But lo and behold, Private Party pulls off the victory, and they will face whoever won the tag titles at the main event next week on night 2 of Friday Fest for the AEW World Tag Team titles. And speaking of that, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega defending the titles against Best Friends. And of course, what'd you expect from someone who is elite? Private Party couldn't fathom what is going to be happening next week because Best Friends did not get it done. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega retained the titles in a great match on the first night of Friday Fest. And FTR even came out to celebrate, gave him both beers, and unfortunately for Mr. Omega, didn't want to really drink with him. Poured it out. And that's how we ended Friday Fest night 1. I'm gonna actually run down next week's card for Fyre Fest before we head on over to NXT and talk about the Great American Bash. Night 1, obviously it's going to be another 2-week event that NXT is going to be putting on. Next week on July 8th for AEW for Fyre Fest Night 2. No world title. It's been moved to the next week on July 15th. FTR and the Bucks are going to be taking on the Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade 8-man tag match. Jericho will take on Orange Cassidy 1-on-1. SCU will take on the Dark Order and 6-man tag action. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega will take on Private Party for the tag team titles. And Joey Janela will take on Lance Archer 1-on-1. That's a pretty good, impressive card right there for next week. Now we gonna be talking a little bit about what happened last night or last Wednesday last night with the Great American Bash for NXT. Literally beautiful set. Had to literally slap on a sticker on the old WWE 2004 Great American Bash banner. It was good. Some nice cars out there. It was good. It was really good. But of course, we know night 1, Tegan Knox taking on Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, fatal 4-way elimination match for a shot at the NXT Women's title. And it did not disappoint. These women came to play. It was damn good. And I could not have been happier for what these women put on for this opening matchup. These 4 women are literally killing it down there in NXT right now. And of course, Tegan Knox picks up the victory. She is the number 1 contender for Shira's title. And we don't know when that one's going to happen. When that title shot is going to happen. May happen, next week. It may happen sooner than that or later than that. We don't know off the top of the head. But it should still be a great match coming up. Literally, can't wait. Let's see. What else happened last night? Timothy Thatcher defeating Oni Larkin 1-on-1 submission. It was pretty good. I'll give that real technical wrestling right there. Hard knocks. You feel like every move was just going to be like someone's going to lose some teeth here. Of course, the handicap match between Rhea Ripley and taking on Robert Stone and Aaliyah. if Rhea Ripley lost, she was going to be joining the Robert Stone brand. And you know what? I was damn happy that Rhea Ripley pulled out the victory, made both of them tap at the same time. Just, we quit. And of course, Robert in the back's like, we didn't want her anyway. We're going to be a lot better without her anyway. It's like, really? Yeah. Can't lose graciously. And you got to admit that, well, we didn't want her anyway. Really? Gotta love it. Just too funny. Strap match. Dexter Lumis taking on Roddy Strong of the Undisputed Era. And you know what? Everything about that whole thing, everything with these guys just going back and forth between themselves and the trunk and everything that has been happening with these guys. It's just been fun to watch. And it was a really good match. Really good match. A lot of destructive nature with these two. You thought, Roddy was going to get, stuffed in the trunk of a car. Just a lot of crazy, crazy things happening with these guys. And unfortunately for Roddy, does not get the win, loses to Dexter in the strap match, and almost got shoved into the trunk of a car again. And almost scared shitless. And then, of course, main event for night one of the Great American Bash. NXT Women's Champion taking on one half of the Women's Tag Team Champs, Sasha Banks. And this was, literally, I cannot say it enough. The women are killing it. Straight up killing it right now in NXT. Literally. Could not ask for anything better down there in that brand with the women. They are literally tearing this stuff up every week. Pay-per-views, killing it. TV, killing it. And the fact that Sasha almost had the victory, but thanks to Asuka thanks to Bayley, almost, getting that victory, but thanks to a little sneaky help from Asuka and that green Tajiri mist, Io Shirai gets the victory over Sasha Banks, and it was a nice, awesome way to end the night with the current NXT Women's Champion celebrating over who could soon be the Raw Women's Champion come Extreme Rules next week. At Extreme Rules. But that is it for NXT this week. We do know that next week, the big markup matches for next week, the marquee matches, Street Fight, Mia Yim taking on Candice LeRae. Street Fight rules right there. Drake Maverick and Breezango taking on Phantasma and his crew in a 6-man tag. And then, of course, main event, show-stopping number, the build-up for the last 3 weeks. NXT champion taking on the North American champion. Title for title, champion versus champion match. Adam Cole, baby, taking on Keith Lee. Next week, we're going to find out if the year of the Undisputed Era reign of Adam Cole rolls on as a double champion, or if the limitless Keith Lee can end that reign. And you know what? Unfortunately, I am hearing that there are spoilers out there, that there are people out there who are already spoiling what happens next week in the main event match. But I will not reveal it here on this show. I will not reveal it. I will not even post it here because I want to enjoy it like the rest of you who are going to sit down and watch this hella good match. Potentially hella good match, but still. Double champion in the making for night 2 of the Great American Bash. Should be fun next week on the program. Uh, and then, of course, before we roll on out of here for this week's show, let's just, get out of the NXT and, pow, back up the logo for the show. We're going to talk a little bit about what we do know for what is going to happen at Extreme Rules coming up in, about 3 weeks' time. Under 3 weeks now. July 19th, Extreme Rules, the horror show. WWE Championship will be on the line in a match to be determined. Drew McIntyre will take on Dolph Ziggler one-on-one. We just don't know what the Extreme Rules is going to be. Asuka taking on Sasha Banks one-on-one for the Raw Women's title. Bayley will defend the SmackDown Women's title against Nikki Cross. And then, of course, in a Wyatt Swamp fight, I think this is why we're getting the horror show added. Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion, will take on Bray Wyatt, non-title yet. Probably will be for the title, but we don't know yet if it will be on the line or if this is just going to be a one-on-one match. But we do have heard that this is going to be the cinema match that we've been seeing the last couple pay-per-views with the Boneyard, with NXT Takeover in Your House, the NXT title, Money in the Bank. So this will probably be a very, very, very intriguing match to see, and how the hell they're going to incorporate this history between Braun and Bray from the Swamp days to the psychotic. Woohoo! Oh, I almost caught myself. I'm not going back there yet. I'm not going back there. I'll probably go back there when I say it later, but not today. To the psychotic Mr. Rogers version that we currently know and love now. But yeah, it's just crazy. But that, my friends, is everything for the week in review. Actually, you know what? Before we really end the show, I know that we're 2 days out from the 4th of July. And you know what? With the Great American Bash happening this week and next week, and it's such a patriotic time right now. As you can see, we're, here on the Flex Network, we're feeling a little patriotic. Got the summer swag going on. Look, maybe a little Jeff Hardy in there, but it still feels a little summery. The kickoff to summer with the Bash. And you know what? I figured, why not give you guys, some stuff to watch while you are, probably chilling at home right now, or you're listening to us wherever you are, on iTunes, on Spotify, literally anywhere. You could be watching us on YouTube or on our Facebook channel. You could be sharing with us, but either way, I'm going to give you guys some, pay-per-views, some matches to go and watch. And you know what? It's going to be centered around the Great American Bash. I mean, there has been a lot of great moments with the Great American Bash, and you could go watch it on the WWE Network. It's like literally one of the best ones, best stuff, matches to go and see. I mean, this is a pay-per-view that started War Games. The first inaugural ever War Games. How can you not want to go and watch that? Literally, 1987. Literally, it's historic. With the Road Warriors and Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes, Paul Ellering, the manager of the Road Warriors, taking on the Four Horsemen: Flair, Anderson, Blanchard, J.J. Dillon, and Lex Luger. Literally, how can you not want to go and watch that match? The very first ever War Games style ever, 1987. Of course, you got the year prior NWA World Title, Dusty taking on Ric Flair in a steel cage match. That's on the network. Go and check that out. Got a couple more. Sting, Flair, 1990s Great American Bash for the WCW World Title. That's iconic. Literally, that is another iconic moment. And in a strange way, there's a hidden gem on that pay-per-view. On that one Great American Bash. If I can quickly, re-bring this up. 1990. For the NWA United States title. Funny enough, Lex Luger as champion taking on a soon-to-be dead man. Literally, mere months before he came to WWE and went on the tear that he went through for 30 years. The Undertaker, back then known as Mark Callows, with Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, taking on Lex Luger for the U.S. title at the Great American Bash, July 7th, 1990. That's a hidden gem right there to go and want to check out. You got Savage, DDP, Falls Count Anywhere in 1997, the Great American Bash. That one was a memorable pay-per-view right there. I mean, it was the main event. Falls Count Anywhere. It was a damn good brawl between these guys. NWO Randy Savage with Ms. Elizabeth taking on DDP. I mean, literally awesome match. I mean, granted, you also had Chris Benoit. Oops. I said it. I said that name. I'm going to mention him twice. Chris Benoit taking on Ming in a death match. Granted, he won by submission, but go and check out that match. Benoit match, it was still good. And then, of course, the next year, 1998 Great American Bash. Baltimore, Maryland, a joint production with WCW and NWO right there. You got to kick off the pay-per-view. Booker T and Chris Benoit, the finals of a best-of-7 series, just to determine the number one contender for the WCW TV title. And the winner of that match will go on to face the TV champ later in the night. And granted, the matches with Booker T and Chris Benoit in that best-of-7, literally the entire series, was hella good. I recommend going check out that, but still, you get Booker T and Benoit. Winner will face TV champ later in the match or later in the night, and the TV champ was Fit Finlay, who we all know and love as Finlay, the Belfast brawler right there, the man with the shillelagh and the little bastard named Hornswoggle. So yeah, just a lot of great moments. And then of course when WWE brought it back, the inaugural one, Eddie Guerrero, the last time he held on to the WWE Championship, the last pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view he held the WWE title, taking on JBL in a Texas bull rope match in 2004. And this led to JBL running roughshod on SmackDown as the longest reigning SmackDown World Champion of all time as a wrestling god. So yeah, Just a lot of great matches, moments. Go and check out this stuff on the network. It was just such great things to see and to go and relive right here for everyone to see. But that, my friends, that's all the time I got this week for the Wrestling Week in Review show. That is going to be it. But guess what? We are not done here with the Flex Network, because literally, just check and make sure what I got. Well, because we have right now, we are, if you've been following us here on the Flex Network, oh, hey, we got Shane up in the house. Yeah, and you know what? I'm just about to say something about that, a little bit about that. I'm going to give him a little peek, but guess what? Tomorrow, the Flex Network hits 100, baby. 100 casts for you guys. We're going to do something very special for you guys, but make sure you keep up on following with us for tomorrow. We're going to have a fun-ass show tomorrow. Though our 100th cast. Literally, I can't believe how long we've been at this. Literally, 1 year ago, everything went, with this Flex Network has been going down, and what a damn year it's been happening. It's been fun. Bringing in the wrestling, talking fantasy football, but yeah, a lot of big, moments, talking with you guys and sharing, this fun experience with you guys, and you guys, have been enjoying it from us every step of the way. It has been a blast. But yeah, tomorrow we gonna have 100 show. We gonna have 100 show tomorrow, and it's gonna be fun. So keep watch for that on the Flex Network, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our YouTube. Literally, it's going to be a blast tomorrow. So I hope you guys can come out and enjoy this show tomorrow. But keep look of what time we're going to have that show for you guys. I don't have it on me at the moment. I'm not going to. Yeah, it's, our boy Shane right here. See Shane right here. That's him. Been crazy. Yeah, it has. It's been fun. It's been crazy. We've had some good moments, some very fun moments. It's been awesome. Just awesome. But yeah, let's get done with my normal spiel before we peace on out of here. You should be following us. You should be liking us. You should be. Oh, never mind. I do have that time. 8 Eastern, 7 Central tomorrow. The 100th cast of the Flex Network. Tomorrow. Join us. But yeah, let's get the normal spiel out of the way. Boom. You should be liking us. You should be following us. You should be sharing us with everyone that you know and love. For your fantasy football and your football general talking and knowledge, you should follow us at the Flex Network 1 on Twitter. And of course, for the wrestling side of the world, you should be following us at FlexNet _ PW Elite. You should be following us and sharing and liking us. Subscribe to us. And of course, all of our podcasts are on Apple, Spotify, all the major big name brands of podcasts. If it's not there, let us know and we'll get there. We will be there to flex our muscles and to continue this dominance we've been having, and that we just love to just flex on you guys, because we love to share in fantasy football information with you of who you guys should be looking for in your fantasy football leagues. We love sharing with you what's been going on in the world of wrestling, so you know how we do this every single week. But yes, that is going to be it for me as we peace out on this week in review show, I am the SnowMan, and we will see you tomorrow night. Well, I want to say tomorrow. I'm just going to say tomorrow for our 100th episode, our 100th cast. Till then, peace out.